What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 12 of my Total Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz campaign. Unfortunately, this episode might be delayed by roughly half a day as I had a very long drive on Sunday and just wasn't feeling up to recording afterwards. But we're back to normal now, so I do apologize about that, but hopefully no more delays. Anyway, as we saw last time, we had another attack on Fort Berg-Bray by Grom the Paunch this time, with a pretty massive force. And there still remains some units here that we may be looking into cleaning up rather than allowing them to attack us again. On the other hand, we also have Karl, who was able to hunt down Festus and destroy his army, though at the cost of receiving a plague and now suffering chaos attrition from the territory that he's in. Not much we can do about that, unfortunately, but all we can do is, I guess, hope that we don't encounter more attrition or get another plague that prevents us from healing up, because that would be really quite harmful. On the bright side, though, we are on the way to Crudenwald, which I believe belongs to Hochland, who we can hopefully bring back despite the fact that Ergig is currently owned by Talabekland. We shall see about that. Otherwise, we're on the way to Brasskeep and the eradication of Festus's plagues for good, mostly because we don't have another army to send up there to gain the buff from Festus. To be perfectly frank, it would be nice for Wolfram to get it, but frankly, he's also quite busy at the current time. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this turn, first of all, Bernhardt, I was thinking about moving you. Do you have Constructor? Construction time reduction, construction cost. Wait, do we have to construct anything? You know what, let's build this, mostly because I think we should move you out right now. Well, let me just see here. You have construction time, which frankly isn't that big of a deal for us right now, but you don't actually reduce construction costs, so yeah, because we're going to replace this with something, but I'm not entirely sure what yet. Let's go for landed estate here. Then we're going to move you to retake Weissmund and give it back to Middenland. Not Nordland, Middenland. Mostly so that they can keep developing it for us. So return to Elector, even though this kind of gives nothing to us. And then I guess you could do the same thing with Middenstag. Yeah, well, we're not going to send Karl to do it. He's better off going to Crudenwald. If we had another lord, I'd send them, but yeah. You're going to suffer a little bit of attrition for it, but at the end of the day, this should make everybody reasonably happy. I wonder, does returning these to the original owner give us extra relationship? I should really check what the relationship looks like after. It doesn't say, well, actually, there's a gifts given, but it's a +6. It really should, considering it gives us no prestige, and it gives us, well, no fealty anymore, considering we're maxed out on fealty with these guys. But oh well. Either way, it'll be worth it because they will have developed this and paid for it, and then when we confederate them, we'll have nicer provinces. Like the same that we're eyeing on Talabekland's territory, or in Talabekland's territory, because these places are all looking nicely developed, especially once Talabaim gets to tier 3. Would be very nice to get all those. Anyway, that's done. Karl has moved, Recruiter, and yes. Okay, so this is one of the major questions right now. Do we keep sending Recruiter here and allow these guys to attack Fort Berg-Bray again, or do we move Recruiter back to where he came from, which is here, and then have these guys attack instead? Because these two armies are in march stance right now, we're probably not going to get a better time to kill them while they're in a weakened state. And I think Smorbitz is the remnants of the last turn's army, which means it just got defeated, which means it should die as well. It is quite tempting. And it does seem that we will draw out the garrison. You know what, I think, yeah. It's annoying to have wasted a turn moving Recruiter around like this, but at the end of the day, another army dead is going to be quite nice for us. And I guess it'll be more XP for Peter and a field battle. A field battle where it isn't Karl's army who does all the work and does all the damage. Also, Helmgart. We probably want to switch you so that we can get that Grand Fort up and running. And we could go into Council Burgomeisters, but we need Recruiter here because he reduces construction costs. So it's going to take him another 2 turns, so I guess we'll switch this next turn if I manage to remember to do so. Wolfram, you will also need to do this. Go here. And in fact, you can keep moving in march stance, most likely. Go to Gregor. I don't believe you reduce construction cost. And then you can take his archers and his pikes, and you can give him these swords in the free company. It ain't much, but it should be sufficient to hold off anything that's here. Yeah, it's just the piles of clan rats. Oh, I don't like the plague claw catapults. Those are dangerous, but otherwise, I think we're okay. You, Wolfram, are then going to move into Aelhart.
Moving out.
And then back over to Fort Bergbraid to hand over all of these units.
Huntsman General. Huntsman General.
Might actually be too many. We have 8 here, and we need 7 here, but I suppose we're going to get rid of some of these archers anyway. I guess we could have kept some here, but we're going to put crossbows in there from Peter's army, so yeah. Alrighty, well, that's that. Anybody else need to do anything before we attack? Peter's good. We don't need to apply any skill points, and we don't need to build anything unless I'm mistaken, at least not at this time. We have the Council of Burgomeisters here, and we're going to keep building economic territories, economic stuff, buildings, because we really need the money right now. Let's double check diplomacy, and then we go. Wardrobe of Woe, you're okay. Everybody else is looking fine. We probably did this at the end of last episode as well. Jade Custodians, minus 3.8, getting there, but not quite. Alrighty, I guess it's time to strike. Peter, you're going to be the one attacking, my friend. You're going to move in directly. You have the Potion of Toughness. Do we need to give you any more items? I'm a little bit concerned that you could get hurt here. Trickster Shard, we can't take. Wait, did I not give it to the, to this guy? Oh, he has the Scroll of Aramar, right. So nobody can use the Trickster Shard right now, unfortunately. Oh well. Not a big deal. You, Wolfram, have an Iron Curse icon, but it wouldn't serve to give it to this guy anyway. Alright, I guess we're fine as we are. Recruiter? No? Peter? Away you go. Alright, let's see what we got here. Close victory. The enemy has a decent number of trolls, pump wagons. They do have an artillery piece, as well as... Damn, a lot of lords and heroes, and yeah, quite a few trolls as well. Alrighty, but we do have a range superiority. The terrain is grassland, so that should benefit us, as obviously fighting in the woods is going to be annoying with a pile of range units like we have. I may also want to build an army out that's a bunch of huntsmen and Free Company militia and outriders together. Basically anything that, or pistoliers rather, basically anything that can fire while moving. That might be a fun thing to do, and not something I've actually built with Empire armies before. Kind of a weaker version of a Wood Elf army, I guess. Yeah, we'll see about that. Anyway, let's fight this cinematically. Let's see what we can do. Hey, where's your speech, man? Where's your damn speech? Alright, well, I guess he doesn't wanna. Do the Huntsman generals give speeches? I gotta double check it. A little bit odd that he didn't say anything. I gotta say at least something. But anyway, I gotta say I'm pretty darn excited for this battle. Somebody compared the archers to Skaven slaves in the comments, and I think we can go with that comparison. We have a very, very weak army, or at least most of this army is made up of the weakest units in the roster, which are the pikemen and the huntsmen, or not the huntsmen, the pikemen and the archers. So yeah, can't be relying on those guys to do too much damage. Now, of course, we do still have the reinforcements coming in from the fort, though of course there's a decent amount of pikes there as well. Fortunately, the enemy is going to form up and allow us to form up as well, which I like. And this is looking like it's going to be a massive field battle, essentially 2 full stacks versus 2 full stacks, and both armies are damaged at that. It looks like we're both arraying our armies across the map at the corners, though we are going to take advantage of the fact that there is a mountainous territory and a sort of city here, probably with a little bit of a impassable terrain and try to essentially maneuver ourselves so that we fight here and here rather than right in the center. Mostly because we can then take advantage of holding one flank a little bit more than the other. Of course, we'll still have to hold both against the sheer number of trolls and chariots and pump wagons and cav that they have. The trolls in general are going to be very hard to bring down. In fact, they have, I think, a couple of units of stone trolls. One of them, at least, is at full HP. In fact, two of them are at full HP and decent veterancy at that. 115 armor and 50 melee attack, or 50 melee defense and 44 melee attack, plus splash, plus they should have troll regeneration as well. Okay, it's called troll metabolism here, but troll regeneration, though the weakness to fire can be, I suppose, somewhat decent for us. We do have a little bit of fire damage out of the Arrow Vakshi, but that's better used for exploding piles of gobos and stuff like that. Too bad we don't have fire imbuement. What I wouldn't give for a corpse cart with balefire right now. But yeah, looks like it'll be an interesting fight. We have finally arrayed ourselves, and we are now starting to move out this way. If the enemy is going to allow us time to get into position in the way that we want, we're certainly going to take it. It did take a while for our reinforcements to move off the field, but fortunately, since the enemy is not coming towards us, we can leisurely walk rather than run to our new positions. Alrighty, and this was also supposed to be grassland. Wasn't this supposed to be grassland, not light forest? Because this looks like light forest to me. In fact, it's barely even a light forest, it's just straight up forest. I mean, I guess in the center of the map it is light forest, but we are surrounded by forest all around. I certainly wouldn't call this grassland, but maybe maybe it was light forest and maybe I forgot everything. Well, either way, this is definitely going to be an issue for our archers and stuff. We're going to have to advance past this little spot of forest. Hopefully this is passable and not impassable. This is probably impassable, all these little houses here, but that should work towards our advantage. Yeah, because we obviously can't fire through this, so that's going to be an issue. And we have to be careful in positioning our single mortar so that it fires down this essentially clear lane and isn't stopped by trees as well. But yeah, the enemy has definitely got a little bit of an advantage to the terrain type. If it was a clear, straight-up grassland, we would be doing a lot more damage with our range. Anyway, just about to get the battle started. Gonna move forward a little bit, taking a little bit longer than I would have liked normally, but you know, we had to get this set up, and I guess the enemy didn't want to move either. And we had no choice but trying to annoy them with our mortar, who is going to begin firing. I'm going to keep this at max speed until the enemy is sufficiently annoyed to move towards us, and we're actually going to target their goblin rock lobbers with our mortar. And actually, speaking of, let's see. The mortar does outrange the goblin rock lobbers, which is a little bit surprising, actually, considering the firing arc. I would have expected a catapult to maybe outrange it. I think the grudge throwers would be equivalent range to the mortar, but yeah, surprising that it outranges these guys. But it is a greenskin catapult as well, so you know, it's probably not going to be the most effective type. Getting a little bit difficult to actually hit it with the mortar, but hopefully we can take it off the field before the battle starts, which is about to happen. The enemy is finally annoyed enough. We're moving forward and out of those trees. Our huntsmen, of course, have fire while moving, which we will hopefully be able to take advantage of later on as we get more of them. But they are going to be able to fire immediately. Looks like some pump wagons are going to try to move in, knocking down some tents, but not obviously the houses, which are likely impassable. And there we go, they're charging in, but they're not having a good time of it. They will be destroyed very quickly like this. One of them goes down, and it looks like they're out pretty much immediately. The first blood goes to us, but this is only the beginning. The enemy is moving some forest goblin spider riders around, and we've set up in such a way that we do have a fairly even units on both flanks. We do have a little tiny hill here, which I wanted to take advantage of, but our army is just plain too big to take good advantage of it. Over on this side, we will be deploying our pikes to try to hold back the spiders, and we have this unit of Free Company militia, which can essentially fire in any direction protection through any of the gaps in our line. And both of our handgunners are over on this side, and their goal will be to focus down the trolls. Our crossbows will be trying to duel with the enemy Night Goblin archers, while our regular archers are probably not going to be able to range them. Let's see, Night Goblin archers are 130. Oh, they're actually about even with the archers. But if the archers are behind the huntsmen and the crossbows, and we do want the crossbows in front generally, because they have more armor and they're thus likely to be able to take better hits. There we go. Alrighty. I do think it's a very lovely little setup in terms of the army that we've got going on here. I've also really started to like doing this. We've started doing this a few episodes ago, where we deploy a unit of Free Company militia directly behind one of the units of swordsmen or pikes or whatever that's out front, and the fact that it can fire directly and then also support them, I really like. I didn't used to do this, but I've started doing this in pretty much every battle now, so I think I'm going to keep up that tactic. Anyway, lovely little front line we've got going on here, and the enemy front line is about to go towards us. But it's the trolls we're much more concerned with. I mean, there's big uns in there too that should be quite concerning, but yeah, I'm still worried about how we're gonna stop them trolls. Some river trolls down here as well, knocking down more tents. Gotta do as much damage as we possibly can before the enemy gets to us, and damn those explosive arrows. Ah. Ordered ranks firing, the guns, the crossbows. This is why you gotta love Empire. The only thing we're missing is artillery pieces and tanks to fire with all of this. And I guess we have one artillery piece, but you really need cannons, and you really need hellstorms and tanks for this to feel right. But nonetheless, this feels like Napoleon Total War already, and I'm very much enjoying it. Alrighty, the trolls are in, and obviously our handgunners are going to be trying to focus them down as best they can, but it is, even with the armor piercing, going to take significant amounts of time. With the massive HP that they also have physical and missile resistance both at 20% on top of the regeneration and armor. So even with the armor pierce, it's still going to take quite a lot of effort. We do not seem to be getting a lot of enemies over on this flank, most likely because they can't go through these houses here, but that's certainly works for us, as it will allow us to continue hitting the enemy from up on high with the slight elevation advantage that these crossbows and archers have. That said, it does seem that we are still losing a decent amount of arrows as they go through the trees, but it does look like the enemy is as well, so at least it's even in that regard. Taking quite some time to take out the Gabo archers, but obviously, once again, they're not going to be nearly as concerning as the enemy trolls. Looks like Black Orc big bosses are moving in as well to help out. The trolls have moved through our first line of swordsmen and are now attacking our Free Company militia, both of them being supported by our two huntsman generals, who are trying to knock down enemy trolls, together with the single unit of Empire Captain, which is right in here somewhere. There he is, trying to fight one of the enemy trolls there. Enemy wizard spotted? Yes, good job. You spotted the giant river troll hag. I don't know how you missed her. Alrighty, what else do we have here? The enemy archers are still doing fairly decent work over on this flank, as we have to focus down the trolls and the higher value targets instead, which means these guys will be able to dish out more damage. On the bright side, though, we have managed to see off the enemy Forest Goblin Spider Riders, who are just too weak to go through the pikemen, although they did some respectable damage, and this, mind you, was with Empire archers supporting them as well, and the anti-large bonus that these guys have, as in not the regular anti-large bonus, but the extra anti-large bonus provided by our huntsmen. Otherwise, it's just a matter of trying to hold the enemy back and prevent them from attacking our handgunners, while they do as much damage as possible to the trolls. There we go, Free Company. You gotta keep holding, guys. Damn those stone trolls, they doing real good. And the lords and heroes together with more trolls over on this side as well. Fortunately, the enemy numbers in terms of their infantry have at least dwindled quite considerably at this point, and now it's just trying to knock the trolls and the lords out. If only we had a couple more units of handgunners here, would have really helped. Or maybe even a single unit of great swords to knock down those lords. Although it looks like the first one, who the Empire captain has been holding back, should be just about done here. Though the trolls are now moving in and are going to stop some of our huntsmen from firing. Oh well. It does look like we've managed to maintain army cohesion. However, our ranks are still reasonably ordered, though we did have to move a few units like our handgunners here to fire upon big targets. The enemy's army cohesion has failed, and ours is still being maintained, so the battle should be very much in our favor now, and is in fact at about 70%. We still have the middle portion to take care of with all those heroes and trolls, but it does look like we've nearly won this. What a fun battle, though, damn. Although it did take a little bit too long to set up, but what can you do? It once again made me wish that we had the option to speed it up by 8 times or whatever, just like double the amount that the max speed up is. But I'm actually not sure that my computer could handle it, because it always lags and loses frames and gets very angry if I speed it up and there's too many units moving on the screen at once. And damn, the trolls have come back. A few of them have rallied. Trolls have reasonably low leadership, of course, but well, they've come back and are ready to do more damage. Going after our poor Free Company militia, who have been absolute stars in this campaign, but they are still holding the ground best they can. Otherwise, the bounce power is now about 80% in our favor. The River Troll Hag is wavering and is getting gunned down by our handgunners. I think they're down to 1 Black Orc Big Boss, as the other one has run away. Well, actually, it's coming back, though probably not for long. The rightmost flank of the enemy has completely collapsed, and we are getting ready to move forward and snipe those enemy lords. Our leftmost flank is still a little bit in trouble, however, as those trolls are back for a 3rd time and now have nasty skulkers moving in, and still support from the remnants of the enemy Night Goblin archers. The regular trolls have also managed to make the Free Company militia rout, and these 2 units of pikes are basically done for, though this one should hopefully hold. It does look like the enemy is about to break through our lines here and right into our handgunners, which means we do need to hopefully try to reinforce and get a move real quick. Another Black Orc Big Boss getting focused down. Hopefully one of the 2 huntsmen can bring him down. Or huntsman generals, rather. Come on, there you go, finally. Took you long enough. And now the battle will be decided at the leftmost flank. There we go, nasty skulkers are out before they could reach the handgunners. Very close there, but so have the rest of the units guarding the handgunners collapsed, which allows the trolls to advance. Alright, come on, get a volley in there before they move. In fact, we might not be able to, but we will move archers, or, well, deathjacks, but archers into the trolls to just take the charge rather than allowing the handgunners to do so, as obviously the archers aren't as valuable, and the deathjacks have actually run out of ammunition at this point. Alrighty, another set of trolls also charging in. We're going to do the same exact idea. Move the archers forward. I'm perfectly willing to sacrifice archers in order to allow more of our units to dish out the damage. And there we go. It looks like with that, the enemy army does shatter, and they are done. Our rightmost flank was busily sniping enemy lords and trolls, but mostly enemy lords there, so that the enemy took more morale shocks, and hopefully the leftmost flank broke. It was still a close victory, however, as we did take a decent amount of damage on pretty much our entire front line, and it was a little bit closer than I'd like, but I'm going to chalk that up to the fact that this was not the ideal map to fight on. Though I guess you can't always expect an ideal map. I do believe all of these armies are destroyed here, which is why we've ended the battle immediately rather than bothering to try to chase them down. Not that we would have been able to that much anyway, as we were mostly out of ammunition on a lot of units, and our Free Company militia, I believe, routed as well, as they needed to hold the line. Anyway, great battle. Ooh, alrighty, what a fun battle though. It may not have been the most difficult one, though we did lose quite a bit more units than in many previous battles, at about nearly a third of our army, but that has to have been one of the more fun battles in this campaign. Our melee line almost buckled, and that left flank was absolutely in trouble there. Well, obviously with the inferiority of the Hunts Martial Lords, that is probably going to contribute some to the relatively weaker defense. If we had an Arch Lector, it would have been a pretty big difference, but these guys are cheaper, and they do buff up the Huntsmen and Archers. We're obviously going to take the money. Pardon captives, not too bad. Not too bad. Alright, these armies should all be destroyed as well. And we're up to 15k, got a free standard of discipline, and Orc's Bane for Peter, so if they attack again, they'll be even more trouble. You are going to move here, you are going to transfer nothing, because these troops weren't going to this guy. Alrighty, you will probably want to start your turn in this particular territory though, so that you can speed up a little bit. So yeah, just go here. And channeling does nothing for us, so yeah. Peter's got an okay army, and once these units move in there, they will be, well, it'll be nearly complete. Though, of course, we'll have to retool it. Add, I think, a few more 3-company militia, some pistoliers, replace the archers with huntsmen, and replace the pikes with spearmen. Though, of course, we can do that once they die. We don't necessarily have to do it immediately. Now, what else do we have to do this turn? Helmgart, you are good as you are, and assuming that there's no diplomacy, I think we're ready to go next. Minus the tech. Ah, we didn't get a student. Unfortunate. But oh well. Speaking of students, you currently have the student, right? Scribe, Hunter, Hedge Wizard, or have we not gotten a student in this campaign yet? I'm now getting confused between this campaign and the Dwarf campaign, or whatever the name of the, student, scribe, something. I'm really bad at turning off the research. It's kind of a hassle, to be perfectly honest. I feel like that shouldn't be a thing, mostly because it just adds needless admin, and it's not like choosing buildings and stuff. It's like not like the fundamental. Oh, we don't have a student in this particular campaign. I guess it is the Dwarf campaign instead. Alrighty, fair enough. Garrison Lord not moved, that's fine. And assigned skill points, we don't really... Well, actually, Pistol Corps. More into Pistol Corps makes this army more powerful. And I guess you can assign your skill point as well, but you have Emperor's Finest maxed out, so you can also get Pistol Corps. You're going to be using a lot of crossbows as the defender of Helmgart. Alrighty, now we can, I believe, skip the rest of this, unless Wolfram needs Root Marcher, which he does not, and Karl needs nothing. I was hoping to do something to reduce the attrition here, but I don't think anybody we have would reduce that. Onslaught, weapon strength plus 3% when attacking. That's somewhat... It could be useful. What is leadership minus... Oh, it actually reduces your leadership? Huh, interesting. And wait, all of these reduce this guy's leadership? So what's his leadership gonna be at after all this? Interesting. Sigmar's Ward we will need when he's on his Pegasus, but we don't as yet. We do want to get Arcane Conduit a little bit sooner, but our magic is a little bit low right now anyway, so it's probably not gonna make that much of a difference. We could just straight up go through Power Sap in order to get through Potent and a few of these. We do use Wind Blast occasionally, and we do use Harmonic Convergence a lot, though. And we could start putting points into Comet of Cassandor for the Arcane Conduit. Fine, let's go for Comet of Cassandor for now. Really, there's a lot of stuff to pick, and there's really no wrong answer. Now, we also do have a little bit of prestige available to us, in which we could spend on some more machinations. Now, let's just double check what we have in terms of Elector Count fealty. So, we got 9 here in Nordland, we got 10 here, we got 10 here, we got 8 here. I'm kind of tempted to not actually put everybody up to 10, but to rather start putting more of them to 9, because we get those end of turn fealty bonuses occasionally.
So,
and then somebody could just turn to 10 with the plus 5% that we get per turn with the Imperial Authority Absolute. Elector Count fealty increase chance 5%, so it could just randomly increase. Maybe it's safer to just put everybody up to 9, so that we don't waste end of the turn events. I guess we go with Wissenland, put it up to 8 at least, or we could put Ostland to 9. I mean, it probably doesn't make that much of a difference. Let's go with Wissenland for now. Just even them out. And then the next time we'll go another one. And then of course, once everybody's up to 9, we'll either start putting them all into 10, or in the alternative, then we start getting more Imperial Adjutants to power up our armies. Anyway, Machinations, let's get you Wissenland, and we'll go increase fealty. Yes. Alrighty, 2,000 left. We want to have about 2,000 in the bank at all times in case an event requires us to use our prestige. We also got 2 turns until the Bordermen are available and 6 until Imperial Foot. We may want to use Wolfram to ferry them over to Karl, because I don't think he can get them in enemy territory, which is a little bit unfortunate, but oh well. Building upgrades available, yada yada yada. There was a suggestion to take Gisoro and give it back to Kurun, but I don't think we can do so right now. Maybe with a full stack, but the fact is there are Skaven armies here, including Ikatlaw himself, though he is hurt. I wonder who he's at war with here, just out of curiosity. He's at war with Telia, yada yada yada, the Wood Elves, Carcassonne. He's actually not at war with Lewin, unfortunately. Huh. I wonder if we could tell Lewin to start fighting him.
You do not walk my lands without my
Just out of curiosity, Clan Squires, minus 29. Wow, okay. Probably not. He's probably feeling a little bit too weak fighting who he currently is. Alright, fine. We'll leave it as it is for now. I was just thinking if we can get him to fight them, but trade him some stuff. But then again, would he be able to stand against so many enemies? Who knows? Building upgrade available, I believe, can skip for now. Let's end the turn. And let's go next. Time to revive Hawkland and march onward towards the Brass Keep. You, Serena Catherine, want us to get a Wargrove of Woe fight going. That's not going to happen right now. We may move through Draika's territory later on. If anybody remembers what Draika's defeat trait, please let me know, because I'm probably going to forget by the time I finish recording this episode. I'm just wondering whether it's actually worth it, or whether we can just skip Draika and then move on directly towards Sylvania. Hard to say. And Draika is at war with, I believe, Ostermark, so there is a decent chance that she actually kills them, which would mean we need to revive them. Alright, Knud von Hesselt is ready to go again, but, well, we're not going to use him right now, but he will be one of our future Knight Army Lords. I haven't decided which order of Knights as yet, but it'll probably be the Knights Panther, or maybe the Knights of the Blazing Sun, or the Warriors of the White Wolf, or the Knights of the White Wolf, somebody who's near us, where we can build their chapter house. I actually don't know where some of the chapter houses are located. Knights of the Panther are the most, they're like the most famous knightly order other than the Reichsguard, or the biggest knightly order, something like that, I don't remember. And they're very powerful in the Empire. Yeah, but they can be built anywhere out of this building. And the Knights of the Blazing Sun, but I'm pretty sure there should be a Knights of the Blazing Sun chapter house available to be built, and there is a strategic location in Talabayam. We have Middenheim, which I assume is going to be a Temple of Ulrich, which will probably also allow us to build the Knights of the White Wolf. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure I remember where the Knights Panther chapter houses is. They may also be all over the Empire, so that means that we don't get one, but we'll see. Oh, Knights Panther, what are you doing? Now, several things we need to do. First of all, Peter, you have your stuff, or at least you have some of the stuff that you need. We will move Recruiter, I think, to Eilhart and transfer to Gregor next turn, because we just can't reach yet. Although we might be able to this turn. Do we need to recruit right now is the real question. Because if we move here... Let me see, let me think about this. If we move right here, we will be in Helmgart this turn, but we don't get too much use out of it because we'll need for Council of Burgomeister. Yeah, fine. This is how we're doing it. You're going to go into Council of Burgomeisters. We'll upgrade you next turn. We will reduce the cost. You, Wolfram, are going to go to Fort Bergbray. Like so. And you're going to transfer all of these to Peter, but we have one too many, so I guess these guys can... Damn it. I was going to join some of these units together, just take one back, I guess. Like so. It doesn't really need to matter which one. Just the one that's the hurt the most, because it might take him too long to heal up. Wait, did I skip one? I did skip one, my bad. Alright. Let's try that again. And you can have this guy. I'd join them together or merge them, but frankly, our archers aren't actually hurt, so there's really no need. You, Recruiter, are going to go into Aleheart right now. You, Wolfram, also need to go somewhere, but you can start in this province. And I guess we can hold on to this Empire Archer. 68 gold per turn is not really all that much. Although, we could just delete you as well. Frankly, we're going to be deleting all of these. And then next turn, possibly we could go to Gisoro, we'll have to see. Alright, you are going to start recruiting. We need more Free Company militia, and you can get them for reasonably cheap. Let's get 3 more. I want at least 4 in every one of these armies, because they're really good on the walls, or at least I really like them on the walls, because they can fire backwards. Altdorf, you... wish we had this guy. Oh, speaking of this guy, you go to Middenstag, and you recover that for our Elector friend here. There we go. And then you're going to go into March Stance, and you're going to return to Altdorf next turn. You, Karl, are going to hit Krudenwald. Right there. Let's hope that this is auto-resolved. Let's see what we got here. We have basically nothing. Hopefully the auto-resolve doesn't screw us. 53? Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. We will return this to Elector to get Hawkland back up. And there we go. Then, please tell me we can go into encamp. Oh, yes we can. Whoo. That would have been concerning. Then, what we'll do is you've recovered, so we'll get a relationship going with you immediately.
Agreed.
Like this, just like we did before with Nordland. And what do you not like? Recent events involving this and that. Okay, fair enough. Annoying, but fair enough. And then you... I guess you can't move. You could move slightly into Krudenwald territory, but maybe you're healing up good as you are. In fact, wait, this place has Festus's Ague, and you have Festus's Rot. You know what? Let's move out of that and stay in Middenheim, because we don't want to accidentally give ourselves Festus's Ague out of Krudenwald. Watch these guys attack immediately. Actually, if they do, Karl will just kill them and recover this again, so I don't see the issue. And that might actually work out decently well for us. Alrighty, next up, Gregor. You are going to, well, I guess you're getting units in next turn, so we can't do that now. What we can do, however, is build stuff. Grunberg, let's get you the cattle ranch, let's get you the landed estate, and let's get you another money-making weaving house, and more weaving houses to come. And then Altdorf, we need to decide what we build here. We could go for the Colleges of Magic in order to get another wizard. Alternatively, we could start building out the stables line, though the question is whether we could actually afford any units. The Pistoliers are reasonably cheap, and I did want to put a couple of them in one army, and then the grenade launchers do need to be bought reasonably soon. The Outriders, unfortunately the regular ones, can't fire while moving, but it's okay, they're quite strong in terms of their damage. This might be an okay option, though the Knights are a little bit too expensive right now. The other opportunity is to get the Temple of Sigmar, the Shrine of Sigmar. This would give us the ability to build Flagellants and Warrior Priest. The Flagellants could go into Wolfram's army, and then we could use him to attack stuff. Might be a good idea as well. He can start moving through Emperor's Finest right now and buffing them up. Damn, that's a hard decision. Knights and Pistoliers or other stuff. We could build that Pistolier house somewhere else as well. We could also always delete the Sigmarite temple after building a bunch of Flagellants if we really wanted to. And the question is, wait, what's their cost again? Just, I want to compare it to Swordsman right now. You guys are at 143. And Swordsman are at 118. Wow, these guys are actually more expensive. You know what? Maybe we'll go for the... maybe we'll go for this thing first, then. No, not this thing. This thing first, then, for the Pistoliers and the Outriders and whatnot. They're also expensive, but they can make armies of basic stuff a lot stronger. Yeah, alright, we'll do this. We're gonna have to have this building in Altdorf either way, and we may build the Shrine of Sigmar anyway, but we'll have to see about it. Anyway, unfortunately with that, I do think that we're out of time. I would love to move towards Brass Keep, but that's going to take at least 2 turns, possibly more, depending on how long it takes us to get there. On the bright side, we have managed to recover pretty much all of Middenheim. We have also managed to recover Hochland, and will hopefully farm fealty from them as well. And then we will be able to also occasionally move out or sally out with Peter, especially now that we're looking to upgrade both forts up to tier 3, where they're going to be a little bit more self-defensible. And thus Peter may be able to take Gisoro, he may be able to take Baston, maybe get around and start annoying those vamps in the same way that they've been annoying us. But we'll figure out what we do with them next time. Don't forget to stay tuned for more Empire. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.